What's up, everybody? This is Storm. I would like to say I hope everybody had a great holiday and hopefully have a good new year going into 2024. As we're closing on 2023, which has been a very good year for video games, I decided to do my top 10 favorite games that released in the year 2023. My list will include games I have completed, and DLCs are also included also. So, without further ado, we're going to start with number 10. Monster Hunter Rise. After being on the Nintendo Switch for 2 years, it finally hit the PS5 and PS4 in 2023 earlier this year. Now, what I can say about Monster Hunter Rise, it's very a fun game with friends, hunting monsters is cool, and the armor and weapons are really awesome to use. And the game mechanics, be able to mount monsters to use in combat, that's all cool and stuff. But for some reason, Monster Hunter Rise compared to Monster Hunter World, it just couldn't grab me like how World did. Like, I put a whole bunch of hours in Monster Hunter World, and I even bought the Iceborne DLC. But for some reason, Monster Hunter Rise just couldn't fully grab me compared to World. Maybe how long it took to eventually come on the platform that I use, maybe I just lost interest. That could be a possibility. Or the lacking of certain foods that you could cook. That's also a possibility. Because the Monster Hunter World, when the cat chef would cook you up those crazy meals, those shits are good. But unfortunately, Monster Hunter Rise had to take the number 10 spot. Hopefully, Monster Hunter Wild, when that come out in 2025, will give me the feeling that I've been missing from Monster Hunter World. Now, without further ado, let's go on to number 9. Coming at number 9 is Forspoken. And, oh boy, this game had a lot against it, with the cringy dialogues in some aspects, the forgettable story, and the bad demo and marketing for the game. But the only saving grace I can honestly say for this game is the parkour and the special magic skills that you could get in this game. It's like, you will feel like you're the avatar playing this game, and the parkour movements is top notch, especially you combine it with your magical abilities. But unfortunately, that's all this game has going for it. I've beaten this game from start to finish, and honestly, there was some points I just wanted to drop the game altogether. But I wanted to see it through to the end, because I bought the game, so I might as well finish it. If the game had a better overall story with the combat and the parkour moves for this game, I have a feeling this game would have been nominated for something at the Game Awards. But unfortunately, Forspoken fell short. And hopefully, in the future, Luminous Productions do have a chance to take another crack at a new IP game. Because I truly enjoy Final Fantasy 15. But, yeah, grand opening, grand closing for Forspoken. Now, we're going to move on to number 8. Coming at number 8 is Wulong Fallen Dynasty. Honestly, I have no real complaint for this game. It's just a lot of games that came out in 2023 that was better than it, unfortunately. The combat's pretty good. I like using a sword and dual sword and a spear combo with my character. And the different like animal spirits that you can use is freaking awesome. The game came out with 3 DLCs that me and a buddy of mine still need to finish the last one. And I am looking forward to Team Ninja Rise of the Ronin. The boss battles are freaking hard, and I still have PTSD when it comes to freaking Lubu. But overall, the game was not bad. Kind of prefer the story from Neo, if I'm being honest. But no real complaints about Wulong Fallen Dynasty. It's just unfortunate a lot of games turn out to be better than it. Well, with that being said, let's move on to number 7. Like a Dragon Edition have taken the number 7 spot. This game has been only available in Japan for the longest, and when it finally came out for the West, I was truly excited to check this game out, especially you're dealing with Kiryu, ancestor from the samurai era. And overall, the game was really fun. The story was really good. It was definitely a good switch up from being hand-to-hand combat to using swords and guns and stuff. My only complaint for the game is just sometimes the controls low-key felt clunky, especially when you're using the sword. I felt I had more to work with when I was just straight up doing hand-to-hand combat. And that's not saying the game is overall bad. It was hard to get used to it at first, but it worked out in the end. Overall, I was truly happy to experience this game, especially being a fan of the Yakuza series and the story of Kiryu. Hopefully, his story continue on as much as they can, but I won't be surprised if they'll end his story somewhat soon. I don't think they'll do another issue like how they did this one, but who could say honestly. But yeah, like a Dragon Edition taking the number 7 spot. Let's see what have taken number 6. And Hogwarts Legacy takes the number 6 spot. And I want to give a round of applause to the people who made this game, giving it an original Harry Potter world story. And I agree with everybody else, it is extremely unfair. They got snubbed at the Game Awards for all the nominations. Like, I know why they got snubbed. It's just truly unfair. Like, literally, the game is really fun. The type of spells, the curse spells you be able to use, the mounts that you could use, you getting assigned to your class house, you rescuing mystical creatures, raising them, all that is all here. I just wish the game needed a little bit of touch up though. I would have put it higher on my list if it wasn't for the glitch that blocked me out of a side story content, which I was really getting into and I really wanted to see how it ended. But unfortunately, because of that, I couldn't put Hogwarts Legacy higher, unfortunately. A friend of mine said he haven't experienced that, which is good for him. And to my knowledge, I don't think they fix it. And granted, I don't know if I want to do a whole new game just to experience that side story content. But it is what it is. Hogwarts Legacy is definitely a fun game that everybody should try out. And I hope the creators continue this story. But we'll see what happens. Now we're going to move on to the halfway mark at number 5. Horror pitched the idea of Jedi Fallen Order to EA to Silver Rays because they knocked it out of the park again with Jedi Survivor. And I'm hoping they do continue the story of Cal Kestis, or at least give him his own trilogy. The end of Jedi Survivor, to me, I don't know for anybody else, but it kind of does feel like it'll leave off on a cliffhanger. So that does give me hopes that there is another game in the works. And from Jedi Fallen Order to now, you could truly see Cal Kestis abilities have evolved from when he was a Padawan when Order 66 have launched to a full-fledged Jedi Master. And the evolution of the gameplay compared to the first one is top-notch. From Cal Kestis going from single lightsaber use to dual blade, lightsaber pistol, and the lightsaber guard, I believe it's called. Yeah. Able to use 4 different lightsaber stances, customizing your lightsaber how you want it, and using new force abilities. And the set pieces in this game was crazy when I played it. The only critique I had on it, it wasn't really polished when it launched. That's really my only gripe with it. If it were just more polished, it would definitely been a perfect Star Wars game that came out this year. But what can you do? The game did its purpose. The story was truly amazing. And yeah, I'm hoping EA continue moving on with the single player Star Wars game. Now, we're gonna move on to number 4.
Rated T for teen.
Burning Shore DLC for Horizon Forbidden West is one of the examples when it comes to a game being fully exclusive to one platform without having a previous gen console holding it back. Because of that, Guerrilla Games managed to add everything that they wanted in Horizon Zero Dawn to this. One of the examples is having flyable mounts. But I remember them saying they wanted to add that in Horizon Zero Dawn, but the PS4 couldn't handle it. And now with the PS5, with the Burning Shore was only available on the PS5, we managed to see that to the full extent. Especially with the giant boss battle at the end, which I'm not going to spoil if you have not played it yet. But it's a truly fun experience and I recommend everybody give it a try. I am curious how they're going to do the next game with the loss of Lance Reddick, who played as Silas. So it's up in the air where the story of Horizon's gonna go. But I'm patient. I can't wait to see what Guerrilla has cooking for the next installment. Now, let's take a look at number 3. Tales of Arise is my favorite game that came out in 2021. So you can imagine my surprise during the Game Awards. They announced a DLC called Beyond the Dawn, which takes place 1 year after the events of the last game, and introduced a new character that has a very dark backstory to her.
Everyone has always said that I'm not
It was
normal.
cool to see the original characters again playing as him. The story is very a touching and heartbreaking story, relies on friendship and basically forgiveness. I would not be surprised if they do continue the Tales of Arise series, so here's hoping that they do continue the story, because if they do, shoot, I'll be there day one, ready to play again. Alright, we're getting close to the end of this video. Without further ado, let's get on to number 2. Final Fantasy 16 takes the number 2 spot, which should not be surprising to anybody. Of course, there are some things you can say about it. The RPG aspect is a bit lacking, and the combat is a little bit repetitive as long as you're able to chain different icon abilities. But that honestly does not hurt the game for me. The only thing that matters to me is the story and how everything plays out. And Final Fantasy 16 honestly does not disappoint me when it comes to the story aspect. I like being able to use all the different icon abilities. I did play out the DLC, Echoes of the Fallen. Can't wait for the next one that supposed to introduce Leviathan. And the icon giant battles was pure flames. My favorite one is Infra vs Titan, because that just made it feel, it was just an epic boss fight. And of course you can't forget freaking Bahamut versus Infra. Like, the story itself had very dark aspects family, death, slavery, and all comes down to forgiveness at the end of the game. I'm not gonna spoil what did that mean, but if you really want to try out Final Fantasy 16, I truly recommend. I can't recommend enough. I say try out for yourself to see if you like it. Now we're gonna see what game for me have taken the #1 spot. No surprise, Marvel Spider-Man 2 takes the #1 spot. And what can I say about this game? The overall improvements compared to the first one and Miles Morales when it comes to suit damage, different variations of suit color, the web swinging is a whole lot faster, the set pieces, the boss fights, the different type of crimes, the future setups for future villains that could appear in the third game, which I'm not gonna say in case you haven't played the game, but am gonna say you are missing out definitely. Especially next year, they're supposed to do a big old update for New Game Plus, a whole bunch of changes, and we'll probably get to hear if this game will have a DLC, which I'm definitely hoping for, because this game is my personal game of the year 2023. And if you remember from the first boss fights from Marvel Spider-Man 1, which was Kingpin, Miles Morales was Rhino, you can only imagine what boss fight they have for Spider-Man 2, which is very surprising. I did not expect that when I started on this game, and I love every single bit of it. Can't wait for the next installment for the game, and I definitely can't wait for Wolverine. Shoot, if they manage to do all this for Spider-Man, I think future Marvel projects are in good hands when it comes to the Insomniac games. Well, that is my top 10 games for 2023. As we're coming to close, going to 2024. What's your top 10 favorite games? Were there any other games made on my list? Please let me know in the comments. Please like, subscribe for more future videos. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Good night and a happy new year.